This card game is called Who Has More? So you need your deck of cards. I have taken out all of the face cards. We're not going to use those. So those cards are over there. You're just going to use all of the number cards. And if you need to shuffle them, you can just put them out on the table and mix them all up. Put them together. And this game is called Who Has More? So in this game, Mr. Graves and I will both have some cards. So I'm just going to take some cards here, and I'm going to let Mr. Graves take his cards. Okay, so since this is called Who Has More, we've played this in class. I'm going to turn over the first card that I have, and Mr. Graves is going to turn over his first card. So I have a 6. And Mr. Graves, what do you have?
I have a 10.
You have a 10. Which number is more?
10.
10 is more. So since Mr. Graves' cards are more, he's going to get to take those cards. So he gets both of them, and then he gets to turn over the next card. Okay, he turned over a 3. Uh-oh, and I turned over a 3. Mr. Graves, what do you think we need to do to figure out who wins?
Tiebreaker.
It is a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is going to be the next card. So go ahead and turn over your next card. Wow. Oh, so an ace is just 1. So Mr. Graves has a 3, and I had a 1. So who had the higher number, Mr. Graves?
I do.
Yeah, so you actually get all of these cards. You actually get all of those. So you can take all of those. Okay, and go ahead. An 8. Oh, now this one we were talking about could be confusing. It could be, we might look at it and think that it is a 9 or a 6. So we can figure it out by counting the objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Mr. Graves had an 8 and Mrs. Graves has a 9. Mr. Graves, which one is more, 8 or 9?
9.
You're right. So I'm going to take those cards, and then I get to turn over the next one. Okay, so I had a 4. Mr. Graves had a 5. So which is more, Mr. Graves?
5.
5. So you get to take those cards. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, boys and girls, you can turn over 2 cards at once. I don't think we've played this way in class, and we can actually put our cards underneath our piles so that we keep them going. So, Mr. Graves, you're going to turn over your first 2 cards, the ones on the top. So you have a 1 and a 9. Now, boys and girls, in order to figure this out, he's going to say the higher number and then add on or count on the lower number.
9, 10.
Very good. Okay, so he had 10. I have a 5. Ooh, and a 7. Oh, that's kind of a big number. Okay, so I'm going to say 7, and then I'm going to count on 5 more. So there's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Mr. Graves had 10 and Mrs. Graves had 12. Mr. Graves, which number is bigger?
12.
That is true. So I'm going to take these cards and then I get to start. So I'm going to turn over 2 cards. I have an 8 and a 7. So I'm going to start with the bigger number and then count on the smaller number. So I'm going to say 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 15. Go ahead, Mr. Graves. Oh, what's it gonna be?
8, 9, 10.
So Mrs. Graves had a bigger number. I had 15 and he has 10. So I'm going to take those and then I'm going to turn over my next 2 cards. Oh, 4 and 4 more. That's a double. So 4 and 4 more, we might know just automatically that that's 8. If we don't, we can say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't get a very big number, Mr. Graves. Oh no, that's already 7. Mr. Graves, oh, he's gonna win this one. Okay, so
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Very good, Mr. Graves. That is 17. You had a way bigger number than I did, so you get to take those cards. So boys and girls, that game is called Who Has More? And so you need your deck of cards. You're going to take out all of these cards that have faces on them because we're not going to use those. And then you can either play 1 card at a time or 2 cards just like we showed you. All right, and we have one more game to show you, which will be coming up in just a moment.